Oh, there you are. It took you long enough. You had Krasnavog worried sick. You know, I'm glad that at the end of this year we still have each other. Because everybody needs somebody else. You know, to blame. You can blame me for organizing the Diarrhea Trot, the world's first diarrhea-centric charity marathon, and I can blame you for personally having so much diarrhea that we unintentionally broke the record for most diarrhea in a single venue, which raised a lot of money for charity and earned you the title of the Czar of Diarrhea. If you don't remember, it's because you passed out from all the diarrhea. I assume if you remembered, you wouldn't have come to dinner. But that's what got you a spot at the table where nobody takes accountability for anything. Why don't you try it on for size? Blame Krasnavog for something. Great! See how easy that is? I think we all learned a lot. Goodbye now. Oh wait, I forgot. There's still like a whole episode thing. I'm Lyle Rath, and this is Pregame Discharge, the only video game show that denies until it flies. The Game Awards happened, and holy fuckaroni, it actually kinda rocked. There was a slew of game announcements. MILF Hunter won a Steam Deck. It was a grand old time. Some other stuff happened this month too, but I'm just gonna mix it in. It's called pacing, alright? Now, if I told you there was going to be a Bioshock 4, you'd probably say something like, does Infinite count as Bioshock 3? And I'd say, who cares? You got clickbaited. That's what this timestamp says, and it will forever live in the metadata of this video how much of a fool you are. But do not despair, you idiot, because Judas is basically the same thing. It's a game by Ken Levine, the director of the Bioshock games and System Shock 2. It's got pretty much all the staples of a Bioshock game, and since Bioshock can change locations and characters from game to game anyway, yeah, it might as well be Bioshock 4. Not to be confused, of course, with Atomic Heart, or as I'm calling it in the tags, Bioshock 5. Another very Bioshocky looking game that also got a trailer at the Game Awards, complete with a chuggy as hell Mick Gordon track, which also makes it Doom 2016 Eternal 3. That's how it works. Sorry, into the description it goes. Don't hate the gamer, hate the game. Hades 2 got announced. Supergiant is a game studio that usually doesn't do sequels, but it also probably hasn't ever had a game pop off like Hades did. The second one looks very similar to the first, with a whole new bisexual mood board of characters for Twitter artists to hog off to. If you played Hades 1, it's the kind of game where more of it just sort of speaks for itself.
Al Pacino.
Wait, what?
It's hard for me to see the teleprompter.
Okay, so I guess he's here to give Christopher Judge a gamey? What do I call this thing?
Heavy.
He gave an impassioned speech that moved many, and it's still going. Okay.
Thank you. I think it's kind of common knowledge that we were honored to go to Tribeca, 2 different upbringings.
This is an experience for me. One I didn't expect, but here I am.
I relate to Corey.
Christopher, hurry up, man. We're burning Steam Decks here. Chris, he's gonna be going for a while. That's fine, because it gives me time to talk about our sponsor. Factor delivers fresh, ready-made meals right to your doorstep. And these are not average everyday meals, my friend. These are designed by dietitians to ensure every meal is packed with premium, science-backed nutritional quality. Just slap it in the microwave. You don't gotta think about it. You got a perfectly balanced meal right in front of you. Look at that. No prep, no mess. Do you think I always have time to cook while I'm making the world's only video game show on Christmas like some kind of holiday elf? An elf drives through. An elf orders in. I am no longer an elf. And you don't have to be either. Look, if you're thinking about microwavable food on Christmas, you probably need to get your life together, or you don't celebrate Christmas. Either way, Factor can make that easier by taking the guesswork out of eating healthy and saving you time so you can stay focused on what you love to do. Use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGRATHDECK60 for 60% off your first box. There's also a little thingy in the description that updates when you do it. It's kind of cool. It's like a New Year's resolution or something. You know, we all hold each other accountable to the microwave. Anyway, is he done yet?
Thank you. Thank you.
There we go. Actors, am I right? And speaking of actors, here's a game called Crime Boss Rocket City. There are actors in it. Isn't that what you want in video games, is actors? If you squint real hard, you can barely make out that it's a first-person shooter from the trailer, but who gives a shit about that? What gamers care about is actors! Oh shit, I said actors too many times and Hideo Kojima showed up. What's that in your mouth, boy? Is that a trailer for Death Stranding 2? Now, you can watch this trailer, and it probably contains some information about the plot of this game, but I only got about a feature film's way into it, meaning I'm still in the prologue, so I'm just gonna do my best here. It looks like in this one, you might play as Fragile instead of Norman Reedus. The baby is out of the jar now. That's not a euphemism, or if it is in the jar, it's an octopus. And I'm not seeing any fucking packages, so for me at least, that's kind of a plus. Maybe there is instead some kind of Yoshi's Island Glover Ball deal going on with the baby that'll send you tumbling off mountains awkwardly this time around. I don't know. That's the best I got. But while you're nice and confused and thinking about Kojima, here's post-trauma. No, what? Don't look at the developer or anything. Remember PT? Well, this has nothing to do with that, but it's scary and it's weird. How much more subliminally do I have to say this? Do I gotta implicitly spell it out for you? It's 2 letters. They rhyme with each other. Look, okay, ignoring the fact that this game went into mommy's closet and is now awkwardly walking around in her adult-sized high heels with that title, I gotta say, it's got some creepy slime. I could see this slime really creeping someone out. Will that someone be you? Only slime will tell. Diablo 4 is coming out in June, and Blizzard has been bequeathing some lucky game reviewers with an early build of the game. Apparently, Pregame Discharge is not an enqueefable enough publication to be queefed upon, according to the queef chief over at Blizzard. I can't imagine why. The little queefers given access to the build were allowed to skitter around the whole first area of the game and level characters up to 25. For reference, level cap on the final game is 100. Now, they weren't allowed to show any footage, but they were allowed to openly discuss their experience with the game alongside Blizzard-provided B-roll. The broad strokes of it is that Diablo 4 is basically just a more MMO-y Diablo. So you got a fully connected open world with a variety of randomly spawning events and other players running around. You got instant dungeons where actual quests take place. You can customize your character appearance this time around. There's clans. There's going to be PvP, but that was not in the demo. And the general consensus was that it's pretty good. Now, to point out the obvious, gee, you think the special little babies that Blizzard picks to give access to are gonna say it's good? Yeah, no shit. But look, it doesn't have to be something insidious like bribery to get that kind of result. Fact of the matter is, if you're dealing with a bad game, you just don't do this. Bayonetta is getting a goddammit shit, men, huddle up. Lesbians, you can get in on this too if you want. Okay, what the fuck is our play here? We've been telling our girlfriends we play Bayonetta for the story, and they just totally called our fucking bluff. What do we do? Do we buy this? Because I really don't want to. Hey, sorry, we're just talking about the lore implications. Real nerdy, boring stuff. How about those Embra witches? It's a Bayonetta prequel about Childonetta that looks like a completely different type of game. The gameplay is different, which is why I am not interested in it. Boom, nailed it. Perfect excuse. Star Wars spread-eye presenter assumed the position and showed off some of its bits and a real guy in a tube. He's real. As someone who thought Jedi Ginger's Uncharted Dark Souls 1 looked fucking terrible from the trailers and ended up playing some of it and thinking it was pretty okay, this actually looks a lot better going in. They're not showing off big generic spider enemies or anything like the first time. Nah, this trailer gave us a look at some of the new gameplay mechanics. Then Luke's Sky Ginger also turned real. And then at the end, he pulls out a second lightsaber and it plays the God of War theme. Kind of weird, but God of War won best soundtrack, so as long as you're allowed, just make sure you ask. I'm not really a fighting game guy, but Street Fighter 6 hit my radar pretty hard after seeing people make some absolutely fucked custom characters in the beta. If you know, you know.
You never played Pokemon?
Wait, is that Chansey?
Yeah.
Ah, what the fuck?
The Game Awards trailer showed off some new characters, some of the World Tour mode where you get to play as your own custom fighter, and just some good old-fashioned greasy gameplay. I think it's pretty obvious to see that this is a big step forward for Street Fighter. I don't think that's gonna stop me from dropping it like the mic after one of my signature sick burns when I inevitably suck ass at it, but it's looking like a good one. Chicken 8 also got a trailer showing some story, which is of course what we're all playing Tekken for, right, men and lesbians again? I'm sorry, lesbians, you don't have to keep coming back for these. There's snacks over there if you want to just chill for a bit. Joe Tekken gets imbued with MILF powers. Bandai Namco is going to Genshin Impact us. Or they're gonna try at least. Blue Protocol is a game I swear I didn't just give a dumb joke title to. It looks like it's built by the team that makes Tales of Melsiphus, which I did just give a dumb title to. So if you were playing those games and you thought, wow, I wish this was an MMO, I guess you used your wish and you don't get another one. So Armored Core 6, the first game in the Robot Elden Ring franchise, is a game by From Software and the Dark Souls guy that was just announced. Let me tell you, someone holding their controller backwards just had all their buttons pushed. You are playing video games and I am playing 9D chess. Relax. Miyazaki Dark Souls, not Totoro, said that Armored Core 6 will not be modernized into a Dark Souls but with robots and will instead stay faithful to the franchise. So the gameplay kinda sorta will probably look like this, and the big cool thing is you can customize a giant robot part by part for wildly differing results. So like in the old ones, you could be a tank or a Metal Gear Walker type thing, or a fast flying guy, or a fake gamer like you who didn't play it. I played it. Oh boy, when I played that game, that was a game I played. Horizon Forbidden West is getting DLC where it goes wester and more forbidden to the insular world of Hollywood. And as far as I know, Aloy's dad isn't an actor or even a high-level entertainment lawyer, so how the fuck is she gonna get her foot in the door? The Horizon VR game got a trailer too. Spread Cells is getting an Assholevania expansion that presumably lets you play as Rector and Faluhard. And Dragon Age Spreadwolf I need to stop. Got a teaser where that little feller reads you a picture book and says that the bad guy in the game is really, 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 really bad. There's gonna be a Transformers game where you play as Bumblebee Anthony and fight for your rights to be a big robot. Amogus has a new hide and seek mode where you just know who the Among Us is at the very start. I don't think that's Among. I don't think that counts as Among. Am I out of line here? The Suicide Squad game got a trailer where Batman kills a guy on purpose, as opposed to all the other times where Batman hits people until they stop moving and assumes they're not dead. Sonic Frontiers got a content update roadmap. Sonic's birthday is passive-aggressively on there. I guess you didn't wish him a happy birthday last year. You might want to do that this time because he's kind of mad at you. Don't tell him I told you that. There's also going to be more playable characters added to the game way down the line. I don't know if they're referring to that one or these ones. Maybe all of them. Seriously, at least get him a card or something. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 had its first gameplay trailer, and while there was a disappointing lack of Cockney-accented goblins going Spice Marine, Spice Marine, it looks like it has a little more of a gameplay identity of its own than the first one, which was an entirely competent Gears of War clone. Are you a girl? Are you magic? Well, start yazzing and poop out all your blood, queen, because they're making an open-world magical girl game. It's called Infinity Nikki, and its gameplay revolves around Sailor Moon transforming into different cute outfits for various magic powers. For example, this blue dress makes you fly, and the detective outfit allows you to pay the fuck attention so you don't hit your knee on furniture and shit. You accident-prone hot mess. Drink water! Crash Bandicoot's getting some kind of multiplayer game. You can play as a variety of different characters that look like they have different abilities, and you win by collecting fruit, so maybe it's some kind of light MOBA with Crash Bandicoot gameplay? I say maybe, because this trailer never lets you see more than 2 adjacent seconds of gameplay, which is what you do when your game is fun, I've heard. The developers of Celeste are making what I assume is a Metroidvania called Earthblade. It looks nice and vibey, and if it comes out before Hollow Knight Silksong, I will just be so embarrassed for Team Cherry. Oh, that's just embarrassing. 2024. You got until 2024, and then you're officially embarrassed. Officially! Listen here, you binko stinko. I'm gonna weave you a tale. A couple years ago, there's this PSN freebie called Remnant from the Ashes. It's like a Gears of War Dark Souls hybrid, and it's actually kind of fun. So I give my boy a call. I'm like, dude, I found a fun co-op shooter. Why don't you give it a shot? He says, okay. I go, let me join on you. I'll catch you up to where I am. So I join his game. We go into the first level, and it's laid out different. There is different shit in the tunnels. We play a different first level with a different first boss and get a different weapon as a reward, and I realize, oh, we might actually have something special here. And then the game proceeded to get better. I tell you this because there's a good chance you don't give a shit about Remnant. Pretty much nobody does, which is why I literally refused to believe this was a Remnant 2 trailer until I saw the title hit the screen. I go on Twitter, I'm like, I can't believe they're actually making a Remnant 2, and like everyone I know who has good taste in games hits me up like, yo! Let's just say this one was a big highlight for me. Behemoth is a first-person sword game with giant ol' Shadow of the Colossus bosses. Colossus bosses. Either that or this trailer fucking lies, which is a possibility because I don't think any of these first-person shots are actual gameplay. But if they're gonna put those in there, either it's a first-person game or a game made by weird dickheads that yearn to deceive. After a really long time, we finally got another trailer for Replaced, which you may remember is that really cool 3D pixel art game they showed at E3 a while ago. Release date is out somewhere in 2023, which gives us all plenty of time to forget what it's called and lose track of it again. Lords of the Fallen was a Dark Souls clone from 2014 that boasts on its Steam page about receiving 70s and 80s, like that's not a D+ in game review scores. But they probably want you to forget that, because this new game is also called Lords of the Fallen. No 2, this is a do-over. The first gameplay trailer showed a lot of badass looking environments, some big bosses, and a bit of combat. Looks like you got kind of a Bloodborne quick step dodge thing going on. You might want to get that checked out. Elden Ring itself also got an update that unlocks the Colosseum for all you sweaty PvP nerds to beat each other up and take each other's lunch money. Self-sustaining ecosystem, I think they calls it. Baldur's Gate 3 is coming in August of 2023. Now, this game's been in early access for a while. You can play the first third of it, and apparently everything starts falling apart the closer to the end of it you get, like your 20s. But if you're fine guinea pig in this thing, go ahead. Or you can wait for the full release in August. It's the same team that made the Divinity Original Sin games, so it's probably gonna be really good. Mr. Mario Man the movie showed its first full clip at the Game Awards, where we got to hear more of Chris Pratt doing maybe a voice. It's hard to tell, it goes in and out. It's what we call in the industry, let's move on to the next one. Call of Duty has raids now, if you didn't see it on your Hulu looking ass game menu when you signed on to Warnet or whatever. Grab a few of your buds and go shoot a really big soldier for 45 minutes until he dies or something. On a related note, the Destiny 2 Lightfall expansion has another trailer. Friends of Destiny players are pretty used to hearing it's actually good now, every Destiny expansion, but this one has a laser grappling hook and you can do some pretty sick stuff with it, including grappling other players. If that's not on a 6-minute cooldown like everything else in Destiny that could have been fun, then this really might be the one where it's actually good now for real, instead of all those other times when it wasn't. Nightingale is a survival crafting game, but it gets more and more on my radar with every trailer I see that doesn't look micromanagey and boring. It seems like a AAA take on the genre that Valheim sort of busted the Valheimen on, where it's less about building a house and more about accruing the means to fuck up bigger and badder monsters. Also, you can Mary Poppin around in it, apparently. Forspoken has a demo out now if you have a PS5 and want to gorge yourself on some terms and quips before dinner and ruin your appetite. It's interesting. I actually kind of don't know what to think of it. If you're expecting something in the vein of a superhero game like an Infamous or something, it does not play like that at all. I'll put it this way. After the fact, I found out it was made in the same engine as Final Fantasy 15, and then I went, oh, like that made it make sense. Speaking of Final Fantasy though, 16 got another trailer. That one is not made in the Final Fantasy 15 2015 engine. What's the consensus on these engine facts? How we feeling on these? Hellboy is getting a game that has a comic-y looking art style. There's a game called Viewfinder, which is a fucky perspective-y game that kind of reminds me of Superliminal, which made me throw up one time. Counts as a unique experience, I guess. The Life is Strange people is making a new game about a ghost guy where he talks to a ghost. When I say he's a ghost guy, I mean he deals with ghosts, not that he's a ghost. That was a twist, though. The person he talks to was a ghost, was the twist. I'm saying it's like a Sixth Sense kind of deal. I guess it could be a twist he's a ghost too, I don't know. Vampire Survivors is on the phone now, and no, I can't fucking do that to myself. It has its hooks in me enough. What if there was a Lilliputian that glowed all the dogs into ghosts after the apocalypse? This is the question that After Us is bold enough to ask and answer. And it would be silly, that's the answer. Dune Awakening is a survival MMO based on the Dune universe that—
I have a dream.
Whoa, okay, slow your roll, buddy. First of all, I was already thinking about civil rights before you said that, okay? And second, if I was alive during segregation, I would have called it Segrenowation. And it would have ended sooner. Anyway, after God of War swept pretty much every other category, Elden Ring did take home Game of the Year, and well-deserved it was. But there was also one last-minute nomination that nobody saw coming.
I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi, Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
Classic prank. That child is in Gitmo now. Well, that was my coverage of the Game Awards, and some other stuff too. What did you think of it, Flamingo Lady?
Yay! Loud!
At least someone understands me. Here are the game releases for the month. I'm Lyle Rath, and this has been Pregame Discharge. It's been a great year screaming at you. We're going to be posting another best of compilation here pretty soon. The show's not going anywhere. This episode's just kind of a milestone. So whether you've been watching the show from the start or you just got here, I hope you stick around, because we'll be back next year with some fresh ideas and some hot new goo for you to fill your eyes and ears with.